Barbican.
Barbican.
Barbican. Barbican. Barbican.
This is the Barbican Arts Centre in London.
Barbican. 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 Barbican.
Barbican.
Barbican.
Barbican.
Barbican. Barbican.
Barbican.
The Barbican.
The name of the Barbican comes from the Low Latin word barbicana, which referred to a fortified outpost or gateway, an outer defense of a city or castle, or any tower situated over a gate or bridge, which was used for defense purposes. The Barbicana was probably situated somewhere between the northern side of the Church of St. Giles Cripplegate and the YMCA hostel on Fenn Street. The residential estate consists of 3 tower blocks, 13 terrace blocks, 2 mews, and the postern, Wallside, and Milton Core offices. The terrace blocks are grouped around the lake and green squares. The main buildings rise up to 7 floors above a podium level, which links all the facilities in the Barbican, providing a pedestrian route above street level. There is no vehicular access within the estate, but there are some car parks at its periphery. Public car parks are located within the Barbican Centre. The estate also contains 3 of London's tallest residential towers, at 42 stories and 123 meters high. The top 2 or 3 floors of each block comprise 3 penthouse flats. The Barbican estate also contains the Barbican Centre, an arts, drama, and business venue, the Barbican Public Library, the City of London School for Girls, the Museum of London, and the Guildhall School of Music and Drama.
On the night of the 29th of December 1940, the City of London suffered one of the worst bombing raids of the war. In that one night, nearly 60 acres of residential, commercial and financial buildings in the Barbican area between Aldersgate and Moorgate were either completely flattened or destroyed by fire.
Today, if you stand at the bottom of Whitecross Street, your view straight down is interrupted by the entrance to the Barbican Arts Centre on Silk Street. Before World War II, Whitecross Street extended down to St. Giles Cripplegate. The name of the street supposedly comes from a white cross painted outside a house on the street that belonged to Holy Trinity Priory. The western end of the Barbican complex also yields history. All those entering the Museum of London will have passed the Conversion Memorial of John Wesley. The memorial takes the form of a simulated sheet of paper standing on one corner with the upper corners folded over. The final item concerns Beach Street. Beach Street is an original street, pre-World War II, running east from the Golden Lane Junction to Whitecross Street. The western part of today's Beach Street was then known as Barbican.
I joined the company because my father worked for John Lang's. And the downside was, when I made a mistake when I was an apprentice, when I got home, I got told off. Started working in Barbican, I was here 7 years. We started doing the excavation, and 250,000 cubic metres of solid London clay came out. 2 years ago, I brought a friend and he wanted to walk round. It was just like coming back home. And all the memories flashing back into your mind, how we done things, people we met. When I go on other jobs, things we learnt here pop up and you know the answer where everyone else is scratching their heads.
After the Second World War, the Corporation of the City of London sought to rebuild the commercial area known as Cripplegate Ward. Recognizing the need for comprehensive planning after the war, the Town and Country Planning Act of 1947 enabled local authorities to buy land in order to redevelop large areas. In 1960, Chamberlain, Powell and Bond were finally confirmed as the architects of the Barbican buildings. Overup and partners were appointed as structural engineers for the construction of the Barbican estate. In 1962, Turif, one of the main contractors on the Barbican site, got the Phase 2 contract for £6 million. Phase 2 covered the western section of the South Barbican area. In 1963, the first concrete was poured on the Barbican site as Turif began work on their portion of the estate. In 1964, John Lane Construction Limited were awarded a 5-year contract to carry out Phase 3 for just under £6 million. The city did not want to risk having to rely solely on Turif. Phase 3 was broadly the mirror of Phase 2, but in the east. Myton Limited, an affiliate of Taylor Woodrow, won a 3-year contract to build Phase 4 at a price of £5.5 million. In 1961, Turif were allowed to get out of the contract without completing their buildings, and they were replaced by John Lane Construction Limited. Mountjoy House was completed by Turif. This was the last building entirely constructed by Turif. The rest of their phase was completed by Lane. In 82, Barbican Centre was completed by Lane. The final cost was £159 million, more than 10 times the original tender price of £14 million. Frobisher Crescent was completed by Lane. It was always intended as a shopping mall containing 16 or more shops with flats above. The city did not attempt this in the end. Instead, they let it as office facilities for the City University. On March 3rd, the Queen officially opened the Barbican Centre. She called it one of the wonders of the modern world.
The Barbican Centre is a performing arts centre in the Barbican estate of the City of London and the largest of its kind in Europe. The centre hosts classical and contemporary music concerts, theatre performances, film screenings and art exhibitions. It also houses a library, 3 restaurants and a conservatory. The London Symphony Orchestra and the BBC Symphony Orchestra are based in the centre's concert hall. The Barbican Centre is a member of the Global Cultural Districts Network. It is owned, founded and managed by the City of London Corporation, the 3rd largest art funder in the United Kingdom. The Barbican Estate is a residential complex of around 2,000 flats, maisonettes and houses within the City of London in central London. Originally built as rental housing for middle and upper middle class professionals, it remains to this day an upmarket residential estate. It contains or is adjacent to the Barbican Arts Centre, the Museum of London, the Guildhall School of Music and Drama, the Barbican Public Library, the City of London School for Girls, and a YMCA, now closed, forming the Barbican complex.
I guess it's the classic architect's view that this is an amazing project, and I just like the simplicity. It's just concrete and timber, it's got full height glazing. The fact that it's in the centre of town, but it's very, very quiet. When we lived in Amsterdam, we would visit London probably once a year to see the Serpentine Pavilion. We would often come here for exhibitions, and I think it is unique. I can't think of any other brutalist project that is so well maintained as the Barbican. And I also can't now imagine living anywhere else.